Have you ever tried to pay for anything with cash and was refused? Tried to pay for $30 of gas with a $50 once. They would not accept it. I was in another state. I swiped the card. It didn't work. I had a few more cards. None of them worked. All my assets were frozen by the IRS. What's up, everyone? Tiger Stacker here. After I made this video, I heard from many of you who complained about your experiences being turned down when paying for items, goods, and services with cash. So I'd like to explore this even further. I put out a question for our community that said, I am working on a new project and I need your help. Have you ever tried to pay for anything with cash and was refused? Groceries, gas, anything. Would you be willing to tell your story for everyone to learn so we may combat this problem? Please leave your comments below. I'd really appreciate your help. And I got quite a few responses. The second one I'll save for last, and you'll find out why. Alan Satoshi Greenspan stated, majority of the pro-college sports concessions are cashless across the country. Brad Yati stated, I have been refused 2 times, then told the manager at the U.S. federal law states if they do not have their cash policy clearly posted, they must accept cash. Both refused, and I promptly filed a complaint with FTC. Within 2 weeks, had the store's policy, had their payment policy posted, and there's the link in case any of you have a similar problem and want to explore this with your situation. Kin of mine stated, went to a local Wendy's and they only took orders on the menu machine thing, credit card only, so we told them we would find somewhere else to eat and wouldn't be back. The workers couldn't care less. Well, I feel that that's probably because most of them are probably younger and know nothing more than digital everything and attached to their phone. Plus, on top of it, it's not their business, so they don't have a vested interest. Joseph Lopez states, I went to a concert back in 2022 and could not even get a bottle of water with cash, and every one of them said they don't take cash even though by law they are supposed to, and if I caused any issues, they would throw me out. Do they concert for stating the law? I'm sorry that happened to you, Joseph, but you're absolutely right. Cash is an acceptable form of payment. And Amy states there are many places in the Bay Area that do not take cash. And the last one, Kaiki, I hope I said that right, tried to pay for $30 of gas with a $50 once. They would not accept it. But the places that irritate me the most for not accepting cash are sports stadiums and event centers. I feel your pain. I had a similar event many years ago. I closed my practice, and my last office manager, unbeknownst to me, did not pay the last quarterly taxes. Approximately 2 years later, I was in another state working as an ER doctor and was trying to get gas into my car. I swiped the card. It didn't work. I had a few more cards. None of them worked. I called the bank, and they told me that my cards and all my assets were frozen by the IRS. Didn't understand why. They gave me a phone number. I called it, spoke to a lady who told me what was going on. Then and only then I found out my last quarterlies from my closed practice was not paid. And I told the lady at the IRS that I needed to buy my gas, pay for my rent, food, need to get to work. And we made out a deal where I would pay a certain amount every month until it was paid off. Actually, I even tried to get them to take my tax returns, but they said my business was under an EIN number and I was going to be getting my tax returns under my Social Security number. So I had to wait for the money to come through the Social Security, clear it into the bank account, and send it right back to them to help pay that debt. It took me about 3 years to do it, but I paid it off as fast as I could. Fortunately, at the time, I had cash in my pocket, and I went to the gas station attendant, paid them, got my gas, and was able to go home and go to work the next day, at which time the bank accounts were unfrozen, and I started working on keeping my promise. That was not done intentionally, and nor do I support anyone trying to get out of their taxes. Don't do it. Pay what is appropriate. Can you imagine the mess I would have been in being unable to buy gas or get home or buy food or even not being able to go to work the next day? Fortunately, cash was accepted everywhere then. But under a digital-only currency, how many people will be stranded with travel, food, shelter, or anything else? This is why digital currency only needs to be not accepted. Until cash is no longer supported by our government, it should be an acceptable form of payment by all businesses. Of course, our younger people defer to digital everything, which I do not think is a good move. I also think that it is mental preparation for going to a digital only currency, whether it is stablecoin or CBDC. In fact, I think stablecoin is a Trojan horse for CBDC, which I mentioned in this video. I'm also worried that Bitcoin is also a Trojan horse to prepare everyone for totally digital and trackable currency. However, our older citizens were raised in a time when cash and coin was the only form of currency, and they still want to transact in that way. And they should be allowed to do so without businesses refusing them. Do you agree? Should the individual have the right to choose their form of payment? Our country was founded on of the people, by the people, and for the people, in which the local and state government was supposed to support the individual, and the federal government was supposed to support the state government while they were supporting the individual. However, it seems that this plan by our founding fathers is now completely reversed. And although we have laws that state they support the privacy of the individual, the government seems to know more and more about each and every one of us. Cash is a way to transact that is not trackable. You can buy what you want without oversight or influence. But in a digital currency, there is potential for being told how much of this or that you can buy, whether or not you have surpassed your monthly limit for a particular item, whether or not your carbon footprint exceeds the government allowances. And many of us buy things that are not good for us, such as tobacco products or too many carbohydrates if you're diabetic. But in a land of the free, we should have the freedom to make our choices. And yes, it's good to make wise choices. And it's good to have people that care about us encourage us to make better choices. But it goes too far when the government can tell you what you can and cannot buy for yourself, except in such circumstances as illegal things such as drugs. This is why I'm so proud of our House delegates Kraus, White, and Kump for introducing West Virginia House Bill 4060 in January 2026, which I mentioned in this video, which is now on the floor for discussion. Such a bill or law should not have to be passed. However, sometimes this has to be done to pull in the reins and allow the citizens to continue to do as they want to without inappropriate restrictions that are currently illegal. Basically, it's a potential law that supports the previous laws because of inappropriate financial choices by certain businesses. So I recommend that you look into your state about similar potential bills. If you have experienced this financial discrimination, I would recommend that you research this in your state. If no such law exists, contact your state house and or Senate to see if a bill like this can be started. With enough phone calls, the representatives in your state house and or Senate will have to take notice and present some form of legislation. Don't get me wrong. I have not changed my position on precious metals. I still see them as the ultimate form of sound money. But we need to stop all forms of digital money as much as possible, or at least slow it down. Private transactions is the right of the citizen in this country. It has been that way for centuries, and it should continue that way for centuries. Do you agree? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Should cash be the right of the people? And should we push back against all forms of mandatory digital transactions, especially when others want to make it the only way to have transactions? Also, please take time to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, hit the bell notification so that you will be notified when I leave new great content in the future. This will also help the YouTube algorithm promote this channel and other content that I create for all of you. Thank you, everyone, and good night. Tiger Stacker out.